Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes with the wind. Consistency, though, that is something completely different. That is a choice you make every single day, whether you feel like it or not. And that is why, my friends, consistency wins every time. You ever had this experience where you were doing something really, really well? You're making progress in life. You're happy. You're feeling good about yourself. You stop because your motivation has gone away. You know what it's like to be so incredibly excited about something, to have the drive and the hunger and the passion, and then all of a sudden that just disappears into thin air. It can be very, very demotivating. But if you understand this one simple principle, you will never have issues with motivation in your life again. Because the truth is, motivation isn't everything. There are two things that are more important than motivation. First of which is the thing that we talked about already, and that is consistency. Now, the second one is not necessarily a good thing, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me explain what I mean by consistency. This might sound kind of weird, but I want you to imagine yourself like a pet, like a dog. Imagine you have a dog and you go outside and you throw a ball and the dog gets really excited. The dog starts running after the ball. The dog brings the ball back and the dog is like, yeah, throw it again, throw it again, throw it again. You're having fun playing fetch with your dog. So you throw the ball again, and then the dog stops. The dog looks at the ball, and the dog is like, I don't really feel like bringing this ball back. What are you trying to do? This is ridiculous. You're like, what the hell? We were having fun. We were playing. You were getting really excited. Now, all of a sudden, you're just giving me attitude. Yeah, and this dog is giving me some serious attitude. What happened? Why did you stop? Why don't you bring the ball back? And the dog is like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like it. Motivation wins every time. Right there is the perfect example of inconsistency. That dog cannot be inconsistent. That dog needs to hear the word no more often. That dog needs to hear the word no so much that that dog forgets the word no even exists. And when the ball gets thrown, that dog automatically runs after the ball and brings it back without hesitation, without question, without thinking about it, without overthinking it, without coming up with a million reasons why he doesn't want to bring the ball back. When the ball is thrown, he just runs after the ball and brings it back. That is consistency. You see, a lot of people say they want to do things, but they only actually do those things when they feel like it. They only actually do those things when they're motivated. If you only do things when you feel like doing them, that means you're not consistent. In fact, that means that you're probably not even trying. If you truly wanted to do something, if it was a big enough priority for you, you would make it happen regardless of how you feel. And listen, we all have days where we don't feel like doing anything. We all have days where we don't feel motivated. If you only do the things you're supposed to do when you feel like doing them, guess what? You're never going to get anywhere in life. Listen, this might sound harsh, but the reality is, if you're not consistent, you're not even trying. Listen, if you wanted to lose weight, you would go to the gym regardless of how you feel. You would eat clean regardless of how you feel. If you wanted to start a business, you would work on your business regardless of how you feel. If you wanted to get better grades, you would study regardless of how you feel. If you wanted to improve your social life, you would go out and socialize regardless of how you feel. But listen, being consistent doesn't mean you always have to do things perfectly. In fact, being consistent usually means that you have to do things imperfectly. I know you've heard the saying that you have to do things right the first time. Bullshit. A lot of things have to get done wrong before they get done right. Just do the thing. Just do the thing and figure it out as you go along. Don't wait until you feel like doing it. Do it anyway. Now, here's the problem with motivation. You see, motivation isn't something you can control. You cannot force yourself to be motivated. You cannot force yourself to feel inspired. Inspiration is something you have to wait for. You have to wait for the magical fairy to come down from the sky and sprinkle you with pixie dust. And then you can feel motivated. Well, that's just bullshit. That's just bullshit. You can't wait around for motivation to strike. You can't wait around for inspiration to strike. You have to be consistent. You have to do the work. You have to put in the effort. You have to do the thing regardless of how you feel. And this is why consistency wins every time. Let me tell you a story about a guy called Jimmy. Jimmy is a writer. Jimmy loves writing. Jimmy wants to become a full-time writer. So, Jimmy decides to write 500 words every single day. Now, Jimmy has good intentions, but unfortunately, Jimmy is very inconsistent. Some days, Jimmy feels motivated. Some days, Jimmy feels like writing 500 words. So Jimmy does it, but then other days, Jimmy doesn't feel like it. And when Jimmy doesn't feel like it, Jimmy doesn't do it. Some days he writes 300 words. Some days he writes 200 words. Some days he doesn't write anything at all. Jimmy is inconsistent. Now, let's look at another guy called Johnny. Johnny is also a writer. Johnny loves writing. Johnny also wants to become a full-time writer. So Johnny also decides to write 500 words every single day. Now, Johnny also has good intentions, but unlike Jimmy, Johnny is very, very consistent. Johnny writes 500 words every single day, regardless of how he feels. Sometimes Johnny feels motivated, so he enjoys writing. Sometimes Johnny doesn't feel motivated, but he still writes 500 words anyway. Johnny is consistent. Now, both Jimmy and Johnny keep doing this for 1 year. Who do you think makes more progress? Who do you think becomes a full-time writer first? It's obvious. It has to be Johnny, right? Even though both Jimmy and Johnny wrote the same amount of words, Johnny is the one who makes more progress because Johnny is consistent. Johnny is the one who shows up every single day. Johnny is the one who puts in the reps. Johnny is the one who makes the progress. You see, motivation is great. It's nice when you have it. It's cool when you're motivated. But you can't rely on motivation. You can't base your success on motivation. Instead, you have to be consistent. You have to show up every single day and do the work regardless of how you feel. You have to do the reps. You have to do the work. You have to do the thing. And even if you mess up, even if you fall off track, you have to pick yourself back up and keep going. That is what it means to be consistent. And that is why consistency wins every time. Now, I promised you that there was a second thing that's even more important than consistency. And that thing, my friends, is discipline. Discipline is what allows you to be consistent. Discipline is what forces you to do the work even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is what keeps you on track when everyone else is off track. And if you have both consistency and discipline, then guess what? You are unstoppable. Nothing can hold you back. You can accomplish anything you want in life. I challenge you to become more disciplined. I challenge you to become more consistent. I challenge you to show up every single day and do the work regardless of how you feel. I challenge you to make progress every single day, even if it's just a little bit of progress. And I challenge you to be honest with yourself. Are you really putting in the reps? Are you really putting in the work? Or are you just talking about it? Are you really motivated? Or are you just saying that you're motivated? Are you really trying? Or are you just saying that you're trying? Be honest with yourself. If you're not doing the reps, if you're not doing the work, then stop talking about it. Stop saying that you're gonna do it next week. Just do it now. Stop saying that you're gonna do it tomorrow. Just do it now. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting. Just do it now.